Hello, welcome to NX After Dark. It's actually in the morning here in Denmark, but it's still weekend. My family's still sick, so just spending whatever little time I have doing some fun stuff. Today we're going to start off where we left off in the previous episode. We are working on this the Two of Heroes router tutorial from Angular.io, but we started by migrating it to an NX workspace, and then we started to start extracting these different libraries out from that application project, so that it's becoming smaller and smaller. We really want to have as small of an application project as possible when using an NX monorepo or just following that conventional style. I mean, you can do this without NX, just using the Angular CLI, but NX, of course, has some features that makes it easier and even add some tools on top of that. This is going to be a pretty short one. I have to make breakfast soon for my family, so let's get right to it. So the main thing we did previously was we extracted these two feature page libraries and just put everything in there from the Crisis Center folder that was previously in our app, and Heroes, same thing with the Heroes folder. Everything in here just dumped right into this feature page library. In the long term, this might not be, or it is certainly not, where we would like everything to be. And the page might not even be the first library our application will import from, but we'll look into refining that later on. Right now, let's do the same thing. What we discovered when we were extracting these libraries was that we actually have some shared services, like the message service here for application state, and can deactivate guard for preventing the user from closing, say, a component with unsaved changes. And what was the last one here in the UI dialogues? We have a dialogue service. Yeah. So using our NX console, we can spin up our dependency graph and see the structure architecture of our application here. So let's see how we can follow that same pattern, extract some more libraries. We have a few kind of features of pages left. Let's start with this admin one. Oh, by the way, I should probably look into the app itself. I haven't done that for a while, but sorry, that's just how I work. I don't spend too much time looking in the app. I spend my time in the code, even though we're doing a front end here. The tooling of Angular is pretty helpful, so once you get the hang of it, you don't have to look much at the application when you're just changing code and implementing and testing and whatnot. So it's still working, right? We have Crisis Center. This is in a separate library now. We have the Heroes also, and now let's go for this admin one, which requires a login. But here it is. Good. So let's extract something. So let's start by creating a library using the NX Angular library schematic or generator, and we'll call it the feature page. It will be in the admin grouping folder. We will have some tags. The scope will be admin. The type will be feature. And creating this library now. And here's the list of all the files. We can see them over here as well. Let's change the readme. So that is the admin page, is this library. And generate admin page library. But so let's take everything from the admin top folder and extract it into this new library here, the page, the admin page. And we'll just start by moving everything in here. Move admin feature to page library. And then we'll start to see what is broken by just moving things around. We can delete this folder now in the app. Let's go in here to the admin module. See, there's an issue here in the admin dashboard component. But let's start by taking everything here from this admin module and putting it into this conventionally named feature module. And let's fix all the imports here, save it, and delete the admin module. Move metadata to page module. Well, we should also fix the imports from whatever was importing the admin module before. That was this app routing module. So we created a new library which has this new path mapping in our TypeScript configuration. Here it is. So this is the import we can use now, but I think Angular will be, or the editor rather, will be complaining. Let's see. No, it worked. Nice. Okay, but since this is a lazy import, we'll stuff it in here, and we'll use the autocomplete here to see that this is our feature module. Very good. So that's part of our refactoring here. Okay, next step, see if anything's broken, and it does seem so. It's even listed here in the problems tab of Visual Studio Code. So let's go look inside of this component. So it seems it's using this service, selective preloading strategy service. Wonder what that's being used for. Modules. Preloaded modules, and modules is being used for what exactly? What? In the, probably here, really? Here in the template? Oh, this is not working right now because of that broken thing. Modules are listed in the preloaded modules. Okay, interesting. So the issue is this selective preloading strategy service, which is still up here in our application project. So now we have to decide where should this live. Let's see if we have a library that it can make sense to put into. Data access navigation. Yeah. So navigation and routing. Yeah, that's a good place. That's a good place to put this one. So moving it down here to the navigation data access library. And then we should export it from this barrel file, the public API, so that other libraries can access it. So let's search for where it was imported. It's here in the routing, app routing module. See if auto import works. Yeah, it does. Nice. Right here from our aliased import, which points to the workspace library. So we need this import also for this admin dashboard component, which had the issue. And that's it. Those were the two places this was imported from before. Okay, so that's another refactoring. We're moving this strategy service to navigation data access. Close everything down. Oh, did I not commit? There we go. Okay, and let's go visit our admin feature page module. Everything seems to be nice. What about here? Something about jest. Should work though. No? Oh, we're using Carmen, right? So I made this is a copy paste error on my behalf. Sorry for that. Sorry, project. I didn't mean to. You should go away eventually. Okay. No errors here, so probably everything's working. Should we check? Let's check. So the admin. Come on, Angular. Go fast. Go, go, go. Oh, good thing we checked. It doesn't compile. So where's our issue? In the admin routing module. Okay, so there's an auth guard. Wonder where that is. Probably still in the app. Here, auth guard. So this is checking the login. So this is what an authorization guard actually. Yeah. And this one is then using the router from Angular and the auth service, which is also here. So these two, I mean, even though they're part of the auth folder here, they're not really related to, well, I mean, one of them is probably used in this login component auth service, but this is about components and this module here and this routing module. They're about the presentation, the UI, whereas these two, they're actually part of the security layer of our application. So we can generate another library. And this is the data access security, and will be shared. So the scope is shared, but not shared. The type is data access. And generate it, please. Good. Readme file. Security data access. It's our readme for this one. We're generating security data access library. There we go. Spelling works. Okay, and then we're taking these two, the auth guard, the auth service, putting them inside this new shared security library. And let's see, this has a root provider, a tree-shakable one. Same for this one. So we don't need this module that was generated for us, but instead we do need to remove that export and re-export from these two files, the auth guard, the auth service. So now other libraries here should be able to import from this new library. It's not picking it up yet, so let's try to restart the TS server and see if we get lucky from this also import. No. Okay. So let's instead manual one from tour of heroes. Shared data access security. Auth guard is available. And find other places where auth guard is imported. App routing module is also using it. The auth routing module, it was importing it but not using it. Same for the auth service. So let's clean that up. And yeah, of course, the auth guard itself. The admin routing module, we changed that. Okay. And how about the auth service? Where's that used? In the login component? Yep. Auto import, please work. Yeah. Thank you for saving me some work. It's nice when extensions actually work. I mean, it's complicated with all the tooling going on and trying to work in harmony. Auth guard, oh, so that can use a relative import, right? It's in the same library right next to each other. Auth service. Okay, looking good, I think. Refactor move auth guard and auth service to security data access. Okay, it says here that it's compiling, but let's do another one from scratch just to make sure. Go Angular. Run faster. I mean, this is a small application. So it's really sad that it's taking so long. 16 seconds, a pretty fast machine. And NX offers something for this use case. It has what's called incremental build, where each library, even though it's a workspace library, it can be buildable independently. It can make a build, and we can then use that build in our package in our application and the other projects. And then we can make good use of that computation cache so that when we're building, after changing something, it doesn't have to rebuild the packages that have no changes or are not affected by changes in any of the libraries we did change. Okay, so we can compile, we can reload this application, hopefully. Yeah, let's see if admin still works. We're logging in, and now we're in admin. Everything seems to be working. Preloaded modules, crisis center. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that was actually a success on extracting out this first admin library, the page feature library. Is there anything else here we can take out? So there's this contact form called compose message. We can take that out eventually. But now let's have this auth module. This is also a feature module, right? It has some components, it has some routes. Well, just one route with one component, but this is the same thing. We can turn this into a library, and what we should have? Let's look at the routing again. Login. Yeah, we'll call it. Hey, Oscar, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. I'm extracting some libraries from this Two of Heroes app. Let's see how far we got actually. NX dep graph, the dependency graph. And it's right here. Look at this hierarchy of related packages and libraries. Everything was in this one project. Now we have, this is the latest one, the admin page. which depends on something in the shared library for data access related to navigation, and the one about security we just created. So we can focus on this one and see all dependencies pointing to this library and its sub-dependencies in this hierarchy. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, so now it's called auth module. So let's keep that name. So we'll call it, but it's the login page. Yeah. So call it the login page. Long page? No, login page. And it'll be in the auth folder, grouping folder. So the scope is auth, the type is feature. Generate this project, this workspace library that's not buildable or publishable. So the other projects are just directly importing from them without having to go through a package, or without it having to be buildable on its own. It doesn't have a build target. Yeah, thank you, Oscar. Created 2 episodes yesterday. This is the continuation of that. Just here in the morning. Login page is the name of this library. Generate login page library. And now we can take everything from this auth folder, put it into our brand new login page library here. And delete the folder from up here. It's empty now. And refactor move off our login page to library. Yep. Okay. And then we're taking these metadata from this module and putting them into this new conventionally named page, feature page module. Add missing imports. Looking good. Deleting this one off module. And then wherever that was used, here in the app module, we will instead have admin feature login page. TypeScript server. Reload. I think it gets more complicated when we have nested modules. Yeah, for sure. It and this is not the finished structure of these libraries. We're going to be expanding on this. Why does it not have? I mean, is this not the right path? Let's have a look. Login. Get like a scope is probably incorrect in my import. It's auth. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it will, Oscar. It right now I just put everything in the page library for each feature. We're going to probably use some shell libraries, but we'll do that some other time. I mean, everything shouldn't be in just one library, but it's a good starting point. We're starting to make sense of which parts of the application we have, and we can keep improving that. Okay. Update imports. Yeah, and everything seems to be compiling still. So what do we have left up here? Gotta end this stream soon, by the way. Okay, this compose message, let's have a look in the application. It is this contact form. So as you can see, contact form must be in a different router outlet because it's visible on all the other pages or features of the app. So, and we can see that exactly that up here. It's in an auxiliary router outlet called, oh yeah, sorry, the font is really small for you. So I'm trying to find an editor here with larger font. Here we go. So this is the route right now. So we're on our crisis center page or feature. And then in the auxiliary route with the name of pop-up, it will load the compose route. And the compose route is what is then loading this compose message component, probably, right? Let's look into the app routing module. In the outlet named pop-up, when the route path is compose, it will load this component, compose message component. So let's, as a final thing, try to make sense of how we can, like, how would we extract this into a library? It's just one component. It's kind of a dialogue for the page. It's contact. So, and it only contains a component. Well, okay, I think we have an issue because there's no module in here. So where is this declared? It's just declared here in the app module. I mean, this is not a good pattern to stuff everything in one module because it makes it difficult to do what we're doing right now, refactoring the application and moving things around. So let's start by creating a module for this. Compose message, two S's. Compose message module. So this will be a scam, actually, a single component Angular module. Compose message module, and it will declare declarations. Declare this one, and oftentimes a scam will export the component as well. Then it would look like so. But in this case, it's only a routed component, at least right now. So we only need the declaration part. So in app module, instead of declaring this compose message component, we will be importing this scam, this single component Angular module, and everything should still be working, hopefully. Oh, okay, yeah. Another reason for using scams. We need to figure out what's being used in the template. So if we look in the app module, some of these things are being used by this compose message component. Like, try to make sense of all of that. Let's have a look. ngIf. Okay, so we need the common module import, which is just a junk module of all good and bad things from Angular. We need ng model. That's from the forms module, the template-driven one. Is there anything else? No, that should be it. So what is going on Angular? Module build failed from Ivy. Login module is not exported from login page. Well, import into app module. Is this? Let's try compiling again. This doesn't look right. Here we go. good. Just tooling, getting too advanced for its own good. Okay, so this is our first refactor. Extract as scam. And now we can decide on a library for this compose message. So it's not a page, it's a dialog that can be opened on the other pages or features areas of the application. But it only has a component, and it's not well. Okay, so it's injecting the router. I wonder what's that's being used for. Oh, for navigation. Yeah. So this is pretty close to a presentational component. Will present its presentational. I mean, this could have been a link, so yeah, I guess it is presentational. Yeah, it is. So for presentational libraries or variables, we can have a UI library and call it the contact. Which directory should it be in? I don't know. Well, we actually also already have one called UI dialogues. So we could just move it down here. That could make sense. Let's actually do that. Compose message, moving it to UI dialogues library, since we already have that, and kind of makes sense, right? So what do we need other libraries to be able to import from here? Let's try figure this out. We need the module, and that might be it. Let's try that first. This is this new scam, so it's used here in the app module. So see if we can auto import it. Yes, from our workspace library, UI dialogues. And oh, okay, what's here? Okay, something inside of here in the off routing module is using the component. So we need to export that as well. The route is declared here in the app routing module. We might change that right now. Let's keep it close to how it was. Okay. Of compose message component to dialogues UI. Okay, let's make sure the app is working. Reload, and it is. Good. Let's have, before we finish, let's have a final look at the dependency graph. And this is what it looks like now. Where's our new library? Oh, it's not new, it's the shared UI dialogues. And this is being used by the Crisis Center feature page and the application project. Okay. So you can see based on our projects that we have an admin page, a login page, a Crisis Center page, a heroes page, and some shared libraries that are being used across the different features of the app. So pushing these changes, you can find this on GitHub right here. LazyDK, that's my account, and NX Angular 2 of Heroes. Yeah, But that's pretty good for now. So see you in another episode of NX After Dark. Have a nice day.